Oh, we gotta go, we gotta go, we gotta go, we gotta go. Neighbor's house is on fire, Mom. Mom, we gotta go.
There are now 40 confirmed fatalities, with 15 large wildfires still burning tonight.
75,000 people still unable to go home tonight. At least 40 dead.
So far, sadly, at least 40 people have been killed since the first round of fires roared to life last week. And the devastation and destruction has been just overwhelming.
More than 150 more missing and 15 fires still raging.
Some evacuees now being told that they could return home, but take a look at what they find when they get there.
Planes, helicopters, and over 11,000 firefighters. So far, 5,700 homes and businesses destroyed.
So we missed a week of school and I came back, and the first kid into my classroom, I kind of, said, how's it going? And he said, well, I had the first 4 assignments that I was going to turn into you, but I don't have them anymore because I don't have my notebook. And I kind of said, well, why is that? He said, well, because my house burned down.
The fires affecting the school, it's a huge question. It's a very broad question. And there were a lot of different angles, and I think that probably the different angles come because we have 1,600 students, we have 140 employees, 80 of them are teachers, and so it's a lot of emotional connection.
The fire really impacted both the communities of Redwood Valley and Ukiah. As someone who lives in Redwood Valley, I had to evacuate, and it was one of the scariest experiences of my entire life.
As a volunteer firefighter for Redwood Valley Calpella Fire Department, I woke up that morning just as any other normal morning for a call. I hear a mutual aid for Potter, so I was getting myself ready to go to Potter Valley for a vegetation fire. Then I hear it's in Redwood Valley within a matter of minutes. So I stay at my house to listen a little bit closer because my teams were already at the site, or at my station waiting to go, so I'm sure they had already left. And I heard it get a little bit bigger, so I got in my car and started driving.
There's a lot of stress and there's a lot of strain, and people are strong. The students, the staff, people are truly strong. There is a lot of tension, and part of being healthy also is acknowledging tension.
Part of me just wants to give them credit for them anyway. The suffering that is involved in that, I can't even imagine.
My mom wasn't home, so it was just me, my sister, my dad, and my dog, and so we had a day to evacuate. Many of the people living in Redwood Valley did not have that privilege and had to leave their house in the middle of the night with nothing but the clothes they were wearing.
I get into the valley probably about 1:15 in the morning, and I can barely see because of the smoke. I get on the station radio letting them know that I'm at the station covering it, and just so they know. Not too long after that, and our patrol pulls up and I jump in with my partner, and he was the person I ran with for that entire morning. And I looked up and I could only see red and all the flames. That was my first experience of an actual vegetation fire.
There's going to be a lot of distraction, and it's going to take a tremendous amount of patience. And it's good not to underestimate how much patience that process takes, how distracted people are going to be, the sense of collective loss and individual loss. And so that was an important learning lesson during that week, and it's not the first time I've learned that lesson, but you quickly forget.
Driving around, I hear explosives going, propane tanks are going off. Cars are left on the side of the road, people are in the vehicles, driving. Everyone's evacuating the most they can. We're doing checks on people. It was a very, very hectic morning and very, very confusing. A lot of the details are missing. I'm very affected by the fire.
You see kids that are in conflict. You see more substance issues. You see all the little things that you would see in any family, any community. You see it all in a school because we have so many people. I think that the fire is associated with that. You know, you can't expect that people are going to go through a traumatic event and then there's not going to be any negative consequences. And so that all takes sort of management within that. And then you guys hit homecoming. The week of homecoming, and everybody knows that Ukiah is homecoming is over the top, and homecoming was supposed to be the week after the fires, and we decided to delay that because there was just no way that we felt like we could come back and have homecoming, and we delayed it. The week that we delayed it to was going to be the week of Halloween, but then it was also the week that Cressa died. That was all part of this unreal, surreal story that we were going through, and having homecoming at the very time that there was tremendous grieving on the campus, especially for those that knew Cressa, but really everyone.
And you just constantly have to keep in mind that there's kids in your room who have been affected negatively, not just losing their homes, but by losing a friend. And that's unimaginable to me. If I had lost one of my best friends at that time in high school, I would have been a mess.
You have to rise to that occasion, that level of empathy and that level of love, to understand that the people that matter most are those that lost the most. All the other 1,600 students and 200 employees, they have to first and foremost acknowledge the Shepherd family, and for our 20 or so students that lost their homes.
The Shepherd family, I taught John Shepherd years ago. I saw him last year at back to school night because I taught Cressa last year. And I taught Cressa's aunt, Sarah, the mom's sister. And so I know the Shepherd family, and the level of anguish and grief on that family is just, it's uncharted. It's off the scale. And as a father of 2 kids, if I found out that my kids were passed away, it's just like a dream crushed. And I don't, as people say, oh, things happen for a reason. I have a hard time finding a reason for that.
Outside of our office here, on the Monday, there was a table out there, and Juan Gonzalez, who's a senior, and a bunch of other students were out there, and they had a table or 2 tables or whatever it was, and they had some items, food and household items, mainly food. And as each day progressed, that was on a Monday, and as each day progressed, Juan Mart got bigger and bigger, and by the middle of the week and the end of the week, they had 8 tables, a pallet of water, and more food and household items than you can imagine. And Juan had went out and solicited donations, and then it snowballed, and pretty soon donations were coming to him, and they would lay that store out in the morning and fold it up each evening, which is a lot of work if you saw how much stuff was out there. And and Juan's end of the story was that he was sitting on the couch on Monday, and he was hearing about the fires, and his comment was, well, I thought to myself, you can either sit on a couch and be lazy, or you can get up and go to work, and I decided to go to work.
My name is Juan Gonzalez. I'm a Ukiah High School student. Right now we're raising a lot of donations for people who need it. So if you guys know about anyone that needs help, shelter, food, shower supplies, towels, clothing, whatever, just send them over here. We're gonna feed you guys. We started with 5 packages of water, and we made a video on Facebook asking people for donations, and they started coming from everywhere. They came from Petaluma, some people came from Willits, and there's people even coming from San Francisco to help us.
Wow.
Yeah, we're getting a lot of donations right now.
That's the kind of student that Juan Gonzalez is, and the helpers that he had, being able to mobilize all those people. A few weeks later, Juan Gonzalez was homecoming king, and so pretty successful story about people helping people and celebrating together.
The only thing that I get out of it is I find myself being more grateful. My wife and I were talking the other day. She said, at least we have a house. At least we have clothes. At least we have food. And it's a reset. If you look at people in Syria, they go through this all the time. It doesn't make it easy. You know, so we're kind of removed from death here a little bit. It's crazy.
In a society that's caring and loving, that level of empathy means that's what we gravitate toward. And, you know, we're a school, and we're about learning, and I think that any of the tragedies that I've dealt with in working in a school over the last 28 years, that's what we've done, is you gravitate toward that and say, well, that's an opportunity to become a better people and, you know, a better school, better humans.